Welcome to the Sherri Johnson Show, the podcast for real estate agents who are ready to stop chasing their next deal and start building a business that provides predictable and consistent monthly income to even double or even triple your income and sales production in less than a year. I'm Sherri Johnson, international real estate coach, speaker, consultant, and the creator of the exclusive Goldmine Pipeline strategy that's helped thousands of agents add over 6 figures to even 7 figures to their bottom line. If you're ready to generate more leads, crush your income goals, and finally play the long game, you're in the right place. Let's dig in. Hey there, I'm back. It's Sherri Johnson of the Sherri Johnson Show podcast. Today's episode is going to literally rock your world. This is AI. We are covering all things AI today with really the one and only Adam Gillespie, who is the founder of Apex Elite AI. And I'm going to say the inaugural winner of the Inman AI Award that was given out to the agent with the best use of AI. And I got the pleasure of getting to know Adam from speaking, co-presenting on AI. I can't believe I was in that conversation, but I got to co-present with this amazing guy last month at the EXP convention in Miami. And today we're going to cover a lot of really cool topics. Adam, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
What's up, Sherri? Thanks so much for having me. I'm pumped up. I had so much fun speaking with you. It was great.
We could have done that. I swear to goodness, it was like that room was not leaving. We could have probably talked another 45 minutes. Amazing crowd. We had the topics, questions. It was a lot of fun. It really was. And what was fun was the several sessions we had before, just putting our content together. And wow, I learned so much from you then. And here we are. I appreciate you being here today on the Sherri Johnson Show. You know, what's really cool is what I love about Adam Gillespie is that you are a real estate agent who understands AI probably better than anyone I've met. I coach and train agents and people and companies all over the world. And I know a lot of people who do this and are in this field. You honestly are the best. So I love that you have sold houses, that you've now applied to agents. You don't have to know how it works necessarily, but you need to know a few amazing certain things that will help you be better at understanding AI and how to use the different programs that are out there. We're going to cover that. What are the best platforms? Everyone thinks, they only probably ever heard of chat. I know through you, there are other platforms. We're going to cover that. What is Gemini? Everyone's seeing it. They don't know what it is. We're going to cover how to clone yourself and AI cloning, which is amazing. And we're going to talk about a lot of other things. First of all, do me a favor. Tell everyone where you're located, about a little bit about your companies, because you have two. You sell real estate and you have Apex Elite AI. And then tell us a little bit about your company and where you're from.
Yeah. So I'm Adam Gillespie, as Sherri mentioned there. I'm in the Denver metro area, a little town, actually not really little anymore, but I'm in Arvada, Colorado, and former musician, a little bit, used to do some touring back in the day, played with some pretty awesome bands. And came off this tour in like 2014 and realized I probably start learning how to make some actual money. So started a couple of companies, ended up in real estate. Been doing real estate since 2017. Had to kind of figure out all of that. Noticed some similarities, actually a lot of similarities between being in a band and being a real estate agent. A lot of people don't put those two together. But if you ever wondered why a bunch of washed up musicians become real estate agents, it's because there's a ton of similarities into that. We always have to market the same way. The difference between booking a show and finding a client are very, very similar. Getting people to know, like, and you trust you is the same thing with venues and so on and so forth. So got into real estate, realized the importance of my CRM right out the gate. So I didn't really have much of a sphere that I could originally build my business with because let's just face it, I was in a metal band, man. We were a bunch of degenerates, So my sphere wasn't really buying houses. So I had to get back online and start marketing myself online and driving traffic into my CRM. And then right around November of 2022, this little program became public called ChatGPT. And I realized really quickly that this is going to absolutely change the entire fabric of how we do real estate. So I dove into that and started learning everything I possibly could. My little geeky brain and the way that I work is I need to know how the machine works before I can use the machine. So went and got a couple of certifications on like machine learning, AI ethics, and prompt engineering, and then took it into my business and started implementing it. And by 2023, some of my people in my organization here had kind of recognized that this was something special. So they were like, hey, you need to bring this to market. So they helped me do that. And that was how I founded Apex Elite AI, which is my online training platform for real estate agents and real estate industry professionals, lenders included, where I teach you guys how to use AI practically, where a lot of people are using AI, but they don't do it right. So I teach practical applications of AI coupled with ethics and then CRM implementation. So I've been doing that now for about since 2023. So going on about 2 years now. And it's been life-changing, man. It's been wild.
It is so cool. The fact that prompt engineering.
Yeah.
This is what's so great. When you hear Adam talk, and your background is amazing. I mean, what energy. There are similarities. I love everything you just said. Tell us about, so first of all, there's chat, there's Gemini. How many platforms are there that do artificial intelligence? Because I think, we know ChatGPT. Gemini has its pros and cons. Chat has pros and cons. Tell us a little bit about those and other ones that you know.
Yeah, so there's like 200 large language models out there. The most popular one is obviously ChatGPT. I call them like the Nike or the Apple of the AI world, where I might offend some people here, but it's like, it's more popular just because of the way they market it. It's not actually the best. It's actually not even in the top 5, in my personal opinion. And as far as the LM arena is concerned, which the LM arena is kind of where people go on and they A/B test models back and forth in a blind test scenario and rate which has the best response. And ChatGPT, especially since ChatGPT 5 came out, has just been falling in the ranks, while large language models like Gemini remain on top. Gemini used to be junk until about December of 2024, when they released Gemini 2.0 Flash, and it was actually a really good model. So my number one favorite model is Gemini, but then we have models like Quinn, we've got Grok, we've got Llama, and there's just a whole bunch of different models out there. But if I had to pick my favorite, it would be Gemini, hands down. Especially now that they just dropped Gemini 3 this week. Like, this thing is insane. It is blowing away on all the benchmark tests. It's probably the closest thing to AGI that we've seen yet. And it's in my opinion, it's the most powerful model because it has a much larger memory than ChatGPT does. So meaning in one chat, we can do way more. To get kind of geeky on you, ChatGPT 5 has what they call a token context window. So this is how many words we can type into it before it starts to forget. And it's like 32,000 tokens, where Gemini is 1 million tokens. So I can have significantly longer chats. And then the reasoning model behind this is actually significantly more advanced. It does a lot better at that human level chain of thought processing that we don't see as well inside of like ChatGPT and other models. So it's by far the best. And this is the number one model that I use, which is funny because when they poll, especially the real estate industry, it's one of the least used models in real estate. And it just blows my mind because it's like my number one. And this is how I was able to, win the Inman AI award, because I started using Gemini at a very high level because of its abilities.
So do us all a favor.
Yeah.
And explain, if you would, please. You said large language model about 6 times. And for those who barely know what, AI is and what ChatGPT is, tell us what a large language model platform is.
So a large language model, in short, is a chat bot. We chat with it, it gives us a response, right? But it's really 3 things, right? We have basically natural language processing, which is a computer program that was created to mimic the way that we talk. So this is why when we talk to the model, it actually comes back sounding human, right? And then we have this neural network, which is basically mimic kind of like the human brain. So what happens is we throw in a statement into the chatbot, or a prompt, right? And then it'll go through its neural network and say, based on this combination of words or tokens that I just saw, what's the most likely response? And it assigns weights to each possible response. And then the response with the largest weight at the end is the response that the model gives. And then the big thing is what we call the transformer technology. So this was invented by Google back in 2015. And this is what gives it its generative intelligent technology that gives it that like PhD level of thinking, right? So these kind of three things get tossed together and we get what's called a generative pre-trained transformer or a large language model. So for all of you that are always wondering, what does the GPT and ChatGPT stand for? Well, it stands for generative pre-trained transformer. So this is what brings the large language model together. And we've just been seeing them get smarter and smarter as we continue to train the models on these new data sets.
And again, it's agents need to know how to use this to leverage the ability to do it. They don't need to know the depth you're at, thank goodness. But
no, but you do need to know the basics, right? Like, so a lot of people don't know this, but if you don't understand the basics of prompting, which is properly talking to the model and giving it its instructions, there's various ways to prompt. But if you're just like giving it very simple, unstructured prompts with no context or data to it, then ChatGPT has a 67% hallucination rate. And what that means is that it can respond with incorrect information. So people think that just because they ask a question to the model that it's going to tell them the truth, when the reality is that the way that these models are trained are to be helpful assistants. So they first rely on their data set training, which is the initial training for the model. And usually this is outdated. So you may see like when you're using like ChatGPT, you may see a little message that says, model training was, August of 2025. And then now it's November of 2025. Well, that initial data set doesn't have any information past that date of the initial training. So it has to go online to get the rest of the information. Yeah. If it can't find the information, it's not going to tell you it doesn't know because of the way that they trained it. So it'll make stuff up.
That's a hallucination.
That's an hallucination. Exactly. Yeah. So we get a 67% rate of hallucination with improper prompting through a lot of these large language models. So understanding prompt structure and context and what we call shot prompting, which is giving examples of what we expect on the output, is how we minimize these hallucination rates to less than 1%.
That's amazing. That's unbelievable. And if you have not heard the term hallucination, that is when the machine or the answer comes back and it's all fiction, right? It's like made up answers because it can't find the answer, so it makes up things.
It just makes it up. Yeah, because it's designed to try to be our helpful assistant. So we've seen a couple of really big case studies with this. The MyPillow guy, his attorneys were looking to create basically their arguments for why he was in court. They used ChatGPT 4.0 to do this. And it actually falsely cited over 20 unrealistic case studies. They did not scrutinize the model output. They didn't review it. They sent it straight to the judge, and it basically crumbled his entire case. The attorneys got in trouble for it because it gave them non-real information. It just made stuff up. It hallucinated. And this can happen to us in real estate too. And most of us don't have multiple millions of dollars to hire a legal team to defend ourselves when we violate fair housing laws or we put out false information that could damage our reputation or even our brokerage's reputation. So understanding how to properly prompt, and then not only that, but self-audit itself for accuracy, or have a system instruction or what we call custom instructions in the back to inform the model that if it can't find the data it needs to tell us, then we risk that in a very big way. And it can become very problematic to the point to where even NAR's issued warnings on it. They've said like, hey, you are the publisher of your content using AI. You can use it, but if it's wrong and it becomes damaging or harmful, you're 100% legally responsible. And I can assure you, your brokerage isn't going to bring their legal team to step in to try to defend some piece of marketing material that you put in that violated a law or gave unrealistic information. So it's up to us to know how to do that. And that starts with understanding how these models work and then using proper prompting techniques.
So give us, I'm going to ask you two things. One, how do we properly clone ourselves into Chat or Gemini so that we are cloning our voice and our, I guess, our personalities? I don't really know the right way to ask this. AI cloning, which you are an expert in. And then also after that, what are some good prompts to train it to know our voice, to know that maybe, and I've even heard from you saying, ask it to ask you questions. So tell the people listening, like, how do you AI clone? What is it? Why do we want to do it? And the benefits of it. And then also, like, what are the good prompts I know there are tons, but like, what are some that they could use?
Yeah, absolutely. So cloning yourself into AI is probably the single most important thing that you can do. Right? Businesses yearly spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to hire assistants that need to learn their systems, that need to learn their process, their business, and then try to kind of replicate what it is that they do. We could do the same thing inside of a model for a fraction of the cost, right? Like I tell everybody, it's the best $20 a month you'll ever spend. So what I did was I took what I learned with my prompt engineering certification and I engineered a prompt that would basically tell the bot that we're going to start a conversation, right? So there's a reason it's called ChatGPT. It's not prompt GPT, because if we just gave it one prompt and got our answer, then it wouldn't need to be a reason for chatting. So what I do is I let the bot know, first and foremost, I always role prime. So you're probably wondering, what is role priming? Well, if you think about something being a jack of all trades, master of none, this is pretty much how large language models are out of the box. They can become a master, but we have to tell it what role it needs to obtain. So what I would say is, like, you'll act as an expert, like for the prompting, or not for the prompting, sorry, but for the cloning, I'll say, you'll act as an expert behavioralist and business strategist. And your job, so I gave it its role prime, right? Like, you're now an expert behavioralist and business strategist. So it says, oh, okay, he wants me to focus in this area of expertise. So now the model's like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this no matter what he says afterwards. I know that this is what my role is. And then the goal is going to be, what's the outcome? What do we want to happen for this, right? What do we want to go? So I say, your goal is going to be to take me through a series of questions in a consultation format that would find out everything that would be important in my business. And then I give it context. So this is role, goal, and context. This is my favorite mode of prompting. It can be defined in multiple different ways, but I call it RGC. So I give it its role, I give it its goal, then I give it the context that it needs. So instead of just saying, hey, interview me and find everything out about my business, I've given it that role as a business strategist or strategist, and I've given it that role as a behavioralist. And then I tell it, I need you to go over these 10 areas of my business, right? We start with our mission and our vision. We go into our customer avatar. We go into the psychographics of our customers, our goals, how we solve the problems that our customers have and what those problems are. And it asks me a series of questions on each one of these 10 points. And then that gives it the context that it needs to understand, okay, I'm going to try to extract every single piece of information I can to determine exactly what Adam does for business and how he likes to operate. And then what I do is I go into voice mode. So this is once I've given it the prompt to actually ask me these questions one at a time in a consultative format, I go into voice mode and I give it an additional prompt. And I say, now we're in voice mode. So your job is to pay attention to how I'm responding. I want you to listen to my inflection. I want you to pay attention to my sentence structure. I want you to pay attention to the way that I speak and my slang. And then you're going to summarize this or transcribe this at the end of the chat so you can duplicate my speaking style. And then I ask it a very important question. Do you understand? This is where a lot of people fail in AI, is the AI will just pick the ball up and run with it. But if you ask it, do you understand? And what questions do you have for me before we get started? It'll ask you additional questions to get clarity on that entire goal set that we just gave it. So then it may ask me a couple of questions like, oh, do you want me to pay attention to something specific? And we can answer those questions one by one. But then we end up in this conversation. So it starts asking me like, hey, Adam, what's the core mission of why you're in real estate, right? Like, why did you do this? And then I just blabbed to it. I'm like, look, man, like I had a horrible experience buying my first home. The agent didn't know what they were doing. I figured I could be maybe somebody that can make a change to how we're viewed as real estate agents. So I wanted to enter this industry to not be a salesperson. I wanted to be an advisor and a consultant and help people actually make good decisions. And I just kind of go through that. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now I've got a good idea on what your mission and vision is. So we'll move on to the next section. So we just keep going through this in voice mode. And then at the end of this entire consultation, which if you guys want my prompt, I'll give it to you for free. Just hit Sherri up, or I'm sure she'll throw my contact info in there. You guys can hit me up and I can give you this prompt. But at the end of this, you're going to get a graphic summary, and I mean graphic, not just go give me a basic summary. I want an extremely graphic, detailed summary of everything we talked about on my business. And then you take that summary and save it in a document, and that's one part of it. And then you say, transcribe all of my responses with another graphic summary of exactly how I speak. And then you take that and save that into another document. So you have your business document, then you have your speech duplication document. And from that point on, you can upload these into any large language model at the very beginning of the chat, and it's going to know everything about you, your business, why you're doing it, and how you speak. So now we have this digital personal assistant that's better than anybody you could pay thousands of dollars a year to help you respond to emails, create new content, plan for your next step on your business, do SWOT analysis. It's like endless what we can do with this. So that's why I say cloning yourself is the most important thing you could ever do in your business with AI, because it lays that foundation to make you unstoppable on all of the other aspects that we're going to employ this technology to reduce the heavy lifting for our admin tasks and our CRM and everything like that.
That is so good. And the fact that you have all these questions, the questions are literally chat asking you the question, and then you answer them. And my favorite part is listen to the way I talk, listen to my slang, listen to the style. I've never heard anyone teach AI like this. This is probably why you're so good at it. It's so different. And so this prompt, we'll put it in the we'll put a little link to so they can get a hold of you, but and give it to them, because it is amazing, and I've seen it. It's extensive and it's fabulous, and you're so awesome to give it away. But the prompts then, so basically now I go out and I want to do real estate, and I want to make a marketing proposal or a marketing strategy, or I want to create a home buyer guide, or I want to create an email campaign of sorts that, follow up, that sounds like me. It doesn't sound like my damn CRM, that sounds canned.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like when you create one in ChatGPT, it sounds robotic, So how do we get away from, do we clone ourselves? And now you talk a lot about sound like you. So elaborate on that, because I think it's awesome when you talk about this.
Yeah. So once you have those two documents, you basically got your clones. So now the world is your oyster, right? So let's say, for example, that you wanted to create a long-term email drip campaign, or maybe even a 10 to 12 day automatic text campaign that you can put into your CRM for new leads that are coming in, and you want it to sound like you. So we've all seen the emails that come from ChatGPT where they're like, "Hi, Sherri, I hope this email finds you well and in good spirits," big ol' M dash, and then it starts talking, and it's robotic. It doesn't know anything about you. It doesn't even sound like you. Well, when we put our clone documents in there first, now it knows, hey, Adam's a real estate agent in the Denver metro area. He hates salesmen. He's a former musician. He loves rock and roll. He it knows all this stuff about me. It knows that I say man, dude, and bro, and probably cuss here and there. So then I upload these documents into the chat, and now here comes our prompt engineering again, right? So I don't just upload that in and say, hey, write me a 10-day text campaign for this Facebook lead. I will say, you will act as an expert real estate marketer, right? There's the role, not just an expert marketer, because there's marketing in all different industries. So I would say act as an expert real estate marketer and help me develop a 10-day text campaign for a lead that comes in through my first-time homebuyer program on Facebook. There's your goal, right? Context comes in next. Here's the ad. Right now, you can use AI to create that ad, so that's a whole nother subject there. But we paste that ad in there, so now the bot sees my business, my speaking style, it knows its role, it knows its goal, and it sees the ad that I'm running on Facebook. So now when it comes back with an answer on there, it's not going to be generic. It'll be like, hey, what's up, Sherri? Adam Gillespie here. Thanks so much for clicking. For more information about my first-time homebuyer program, when's a good chance for us to jump on a 15-minute chat to see if this program's a good fit for you? Right? So that could be on the text side of things. And then if they don't respond, text comes out day 2 and it's like, hey, Sherri, yesterday you were on my Facebook page clicking more information about my first-time homebuyer program. Look, I get it. Life happens fast, but I'm still here for you. Here's a calendar link so you can pick a good time to jam out with me. Right. And then that calendar link is created in either Calendly or whatever you want to create it in, but I attach it to Zoom. So then I can bring them on to Zoom. Because yes, sales are still made on the phone, but there's no body language being read on there. So my goal is to try to get them in person or on Zoom so they can see that I'm a real person. They can read my body language, and that's usually where the deal's sold or the lead's converted, right? So we create 12 on that. And then I turn around and create an email campaign, which is a little bit different because the models get lazy if we're outputting if we're putting a bunch of information out at once. So on an email campaign, I'll say create the outline. But in this campaign, I want to take the buyer through a 2-year process, sending 2 emails per month on a virtual process of purchasing a home. And I want to include all of the details and nuances that would be through. And these emails need to be strictly educational. They must avoid spam language. They must avoid promotional language, and they must use advanced neuro-linguistic programming. So that way we can keep the dream alive for the client, because we all know what happens with lead gen, right? One day they're interested in buying a house, then life happens, and then they have to put it on the back burner. So we can use advanced NLP to try to help them keep that dream alive. So then it writes me an actual outline for the 24 months that I'm going to be sending that. And then I go through one email at a time. And because it has all of that context we talked about and my cloning documents, now it sounds like me. So instead of being like, thank you so much for clicking on my Facebook ad, or even in general, thanks for registering on my website. This is where a lot of people do is they don't even acknowledge how the lead came into the system, right? So when we feed the ad to the large language model, it knows this is the ad they saw. So let's acknowledge that. Right. Then it has all of my area information. So it's like, hey, I know you're looking to buy a house in the Denver metro area. And it's probably very overwhelming. But what I'm going to do is break this down into a series of emails for you where I can educate and inform you, because I hate salespeople and I'm not here to sell you anything, about what it's going to be like to purchase your first home or your second home in the Denver metro area. Right. So it's very personalized, and it goes along with the way that I like to sell to people, which is via education and information. And then I just create these emails, copy and paste them into my CRM, start running the ad on Facebook. And the only thing I got to do is worry about making a call.
And it literally says jam session to schedule a call.
Yeah, my schedule says jam sesh, dude, for sure.
But that's like literally what it says. I want everyone to know this. And once I met with Adam, I went in to get rid of the, I sound, who knows? I mean, I'm enthusiastic, let's put it that way. But like, I will admit everything's really stiff and like, the overly professional, let's call it. And I said, use slang with mine. And when that stuff came out, a 90-day email nurture and SMS text campaign came out, and it was like, what up, Cleveland? Like, and it was hilarious. And it was like, grab a time instead of schedule a strategy call. I mean, like, I laughed at myself out loud. Like, this was such a great exercise for me to do, because I was in this ultra massively sterile sounding, not quite robotic, but like definitely not
you, right? Not you. And that's where I think a lot of real estate agents don't understand, is they think that we have to wear a suit and tie, which if you guys are suit and tie wearers, great. I'm not, right? I show up to my listings or to my appointments with my buyers in AI gear. Usually I have workout pants on. I'm going to cuss. I'm going to be me, but they're expecting it because the correspondence that happened before they met me was in my personality. So they get a good idea of it. And now for those of you that are watching right now and you're thinking, well, wouldn't that hurt my business? Absolutely not. Like, these people don't want to work with robots. As much as I'm into AI, they don't want to talk to my AI. They want to talk to me, and they want somebody that's going to meet their style, that's going to meet their personality. So like, Tom Ferry famously said, your vibe will attract your tribe. And he's absolutely right about that. When I first started real estate, I put a suit and tie on. I shaved my beard, tried to grow what little hair I could still grow out left, and I looked like an idiot. And then I'm like, why am I not getting any business? And the moment I grew the beard back, started shaving my head again, took the suit off, started cussing, targeting my blue collar workers making over $100,000 a year, and they get that first email, and I drop an F-bomb in the email. It's completely out of pocket for what normal realtors are, and they're like, "Oh, this is my dude." So some people might not like it, but guess what? Maybe I don't want to work with you either. Right? I don't want to work with a stiff. I want to have fun in my career. So I'd rather attract the personality type that I'm going to get along with. So this is why I hyper personalize everything. And then people can get that. So if you can't get on the phone with them, or you can't get in Zoom or meet them for coffee, I can nurture them for multiple years with my personality, making jokes about being in a band, making jokes about music, doing all the things that make my personality what it is. And they get a good idea of it. So like, I had this one guy that came in through Facebook. He was in my system for 3.5 years, never responded to a text, never responded to an email. Out of nowhere, I get a showing request. And that came through because he was on my website. That's one thing I want people to understand, is that if you have your CRM set up properly, then you can monitor what they're doing online. Just because they're not responding only means they're not ready. If they haven't unsubscribed and they're opening your emails, that means that you're still in the game. So just let that nurture do its thing. So he books this showing appointment. And I'm like, cool. When he requests a showing, my CRM recognizes that he requested a showing. So a text goes out automatically. It's like, yo, what up, Scott? I saw you requested a showing at 123 Main Street. I'm going to go ahead and book this with the agent. I'll hit you up as soon as I got confirmation. So I get the confirmation. I hit him up. I'm like, yep, I'll see you there tomorrow at 10. Next thing you know, I'm sitting outside this new build, and I see this truck pull up, and dude hops out. He's bald. He's got a beard. He's in a Pantera shirt. And I knew right away, I was like, damn, I'm around my peeps. Like, let's rock, dude. And he hops out and he's like, oh my God, dude. I'm so glad that you're my realtor right now. Like, he's like, I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew you were probably cool because of all the music references and stuff that you put in the chat. And it turns out this dude goes to concerts all the time. He loves the same kind of music as me. And this was an amazing process to help him find his first home, right? He was going to rent. And then he decided to book this showing, and then we got him pre-approved with the builder. We sold him the house for $1,000 down on the deposit. They paid for his down payment assistance. They paid his lender. The lender gave him credits so he could pay his closing costs, and he's done. And now we're really good friends. And that's my favorite part about it, is that if you're unapologetically you, then your clients actually become your friends. And this is an amazing thing, because since that closed, he sent me 3 different people. So I sent him a Traeger grill. I'm like, let's rock, dude. You keep sending me business, I'm going to keep giving you stuff, So I continue to do this with people, and it just grows your business exponentially.
What did you send him?
A Traeger grill. Yeah. I shot him a message, and I'm like, hey man, you got a smoker? He's all, no, I always wanted one. I'm like, sit tight. So I jumped on Amazon and sent him a smoker, dude. And then he gets a smoker, and he's like, what the hell, dude? Why did you do this? And it's like, just don't even worry about it, man. Like,
fantastic. That whole entire story, and it is unapologetic, authentic you can't be something you're not. It doesn't work. And listen, you know what? You do attract your people. There's a market for everyone. Find your thing and rock it out, because that is literally the best story. I love it. And you know what? There's so many ways to do this. There's so many ways to do AI. There's so many ways to do real estate. And I just love the story. I love that you said basically F it, and you shaved your head and grew your beard out again. Like, that's my favorite part of the whole story. And here's the thing. You can't be afraid of AI. And I know we hear the phrase all the time, AI is not going to replace us. It will replace, agents who are using AI will probably replace agents. Is that a fair statement to make, or how can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll actually replace the other agents. It's just going to make your job a lot harder, because you got to think about it. I have this AI assistant now, right? I can write drip campaigns that if you didn't want to use AI, you can go write a 2-year drip campaign. Let me know when you're done with it in 2 weeks. I'll be done with mine in 45 minutes, and I'll be running that ad, and I'll be stealing all of that market share from you. Right? Let me know when you're done designing that property flyer. Let me know when you're done taking your photo shoot for your headshots. I'm going to do all of it without leaving my desk, right? I can do all of this very, very quickly. And I tell people, I'm like, look, if you hang out with me for long enough, The main side effect is compounded time savings. We all love compounding interest, right? What about compounded time savings? So much of us in real estate, we work our butts off to the point to where we don't really have enough time to do the things that actually fuel us to stay energized, and we get burnout. And this is why you have such a giant dropout rate inside this industry. Like these last couple of years have been difficult, as the market says. I don't even call my leads because I coach agents all the time, but I still do 6 figures a year out of my CRM because AI automates the entire back end of it and sounds like me, to where if I can't make that phone call, it's cool. I'm not going anywhere, right? Like I'll just nurture you. When you're ready, you hit me up. And because I don't have this salesy approach and I don't try to use outdated psychological sales techniques, and I just try to help people, then they call me. So I can do all of this at a much faster and more efficient level than somebody doing it all manually. So think of it like this. If you choose not to use AI, you're not out of the game, but you're just going to get smoked by people like me that are in the game, that are doing it at a much higher, more pro-efficient level and being more hyper-personalized. So it's an augmented partnership with the AI that'll allow you to spend more time with your family. It'll allow you to be better there for the clients. How many of you guys are out there doing multiple deals? And then between all the back end stuff that you have to do that AI could handle for you, you dread that call that comes in on a Sunday at 8 p.m. because your client wants to go see a house. Well, I have all that back end stuff. So I'm usually just chilling and I'm like, oh yeah, I can actually be there for the client that wants to buy a house right now. And the ones that don't, well, my automated system is going to handle all of that for me. So that's kind of where my opinion is on that whole thing.
I think it's
you just got to get more efficient.
Exceptionally stated and worded. You talk about adding value, nurturing, playing the long game, I call it. And that's the person, in my opinion, that will maximize that opportunity, because when people don't respond to you, the ghosting is part of the process. If they're still opening your emails, you just said this, if they're still opening your emails and just not responding to you, it's not the time. It's not right now, And,
exactly.
and I think people get all really jammed up on that. Lead generation over 2 years with some kind of campaign is going to pay off for you. What CRM are you currently using, and what do you recommend?
I use Lofty. 10 brokerages since 2017. So I used to hop around a lot. I've been on all of them. Lofty is by far the best. It's the most user-friendly. It's got the most automation capabilities out of any of the other CRMs that I've used. Their websites are beautiful on there. We have full editing capabilities on there. Their SEO is insane. And like where, I'm going to single out one CRM here, like Follow Up Boss, let's just say. They just got bought by Zillow. So guess who owns your data if you're on FUB right now? They don't allow you to auto text. Auto texting is a huge part of this, because if I have to get on my phone, I have to go, even if I template the texts, right? I still have to go pull the template up, search for the template, send it into the lead, and then press send. That needs to be automatic, right? So there's a lot of platforms that don't let you do this automatically, where Lofty does. And then we can use AI to generate the language that goes in the text so it actually sounds like you, and you don't have to spend the time writing it. Once again, saving time, right? We implement this all over the place, and then you end up just crushing it. So huge fan of Lofty. I'm a Lofty certified coach as well. I'm also, you had said, like I had my businesses. I just started a new business where I'm an authorized Lofty reseller. So I'm able to actually sell the Lofty platform to a real estate agent for a fraction of the cost that you can get it from Lofty from. So the biggest stigma with Lofty is it's considered a CRM suite, right? Where FUB is not. Follow Up Boss is just a CRM. You got to plug a website into it and all that other stuff. Lofty is all in one suite. We got automatic CMAs. We've got listing presentations. They've got a print market inside of it. They've got auto text, auto email capabilities. All of it's all packed into one. And typically it's like $400 a month, right? Well, I can get you that for much less. Chop that and fit it in half, 50%, right? So I'm able to bring it to market for a little bit cheaper for agents, and then you have your own system. So I don't want to discourage anybody from using brokerage provided CRMs, but you have to understand it's in your ICA that they own your data, right? And there's a reason that data is important. This is why Meta and Google and Apple are after all of it, because those who own the data will run the show. So if you're giving your data to another corporation, then you leave that corporation. You'd be naive to think that they don't market to your leads, because they do. Right? So having that in your own ecosystem is a very important thing. And if it's something as low as like $200 a month, you got to think, if you could automate your CRM to the point to where it even closes one additional deal a year for you, it pays for itself. And so many agents don't want to invest in that. They're like, I'm not spending that kind of money on a CRM. It's like, you spend that kind of money on coffee at Starbucks every month. And what does that do for your business?
Correct. And by the way, yeah, CRMs are not optional. You said that on stage, and I'm going to echo it, and I've been saying it forever. Number one disaster when people join our coaching is they have no idea where their database is. It's in 5 different places. It's time, everybody, listen to what this expert is saying. You need a CRM. It's worth it. It will pay for itself over and over and over again. It is. It's a must-have. You really can't run a business without it. What do you recommend would be the top 2 ways to implement AI right now for if an agent's out there saying, what should I do? And should I use it to, increase my efficiency or be an assistant? I mean, what are the 2 best uses of AI you can after they clone themselves? They have to do that part first, but then after that, what would you recommend that they do?
So I'm going to give you 3. All right. So the most important thing is when it comes to the uses of it after you've cloned yourself, because once again, that's step 1. But there's so much stuff that you can do. So the top 3 things that I would say would be content creation. First and foremost, a lot of us realize that the industry has moved towards social media. It's moved towards YouTube. So if you're not producing content regularly, then you're missing out on a massive amount of market share. Especially as these newer generation, these Gen Z kids are getting old enough to buy their own houses. Referrals aren't going to be the same as what they used to be. In the old days, somebody would be like, oh yeah, Adam was my realtor. He was great. Use him. They're like, done. They call you. Not this generation. This generation can get a referral from somebody, and the first thing they do is go online and see if you've got a footprint. So if you don't have an Instagram, you don't have a TikTok, you don't have a Facebook, you don't have a YouTube channel, they're going to be hesitant. They're going to be like, well, if this guy can't even put himself on social media where everybody else is at, then how do I know he's going to do a good job for me for real estate? So AI will simplify that process. Think about it. You have your clone, right? So every day I'll get up, I'll open up my custom GPT that I created that if you guys are interested in, I just shoot me a message. I'll give it to you for free. This will create blogs for you. And blogs are super important as we change inside the environment of real estate and how SEO is. There's a new thing out called AEO. This is Answers Engine Optimization. So the way that we search the internet is changing dramatically. Clients customers are now asking large language models questions. So if you're not blogging consistently with answers to these questions, then you'll never get found inside a large language model. And I can guarantee you, mark my words, within the next 10 years, there will be no Google search. We're probably going to go to a complete voice to AI response where there won't even really be a browser anymore. We're seeing agentic browsers now, but that's for another time. So you can use this to make content. So I get up every morning, I already have my clone inside my bot, and I say, give me 5 blog ideas. And then it spits out ideas. And the ideas are for me. It's like, hey, from real estate, or from rock star to real estate rock star, here's how I made my transition from music into real estate and why I think it's important. And they give me these blogs, and then these blogs are already SEO optimized. So it gives me 5 blog ideas. I choose one of those ideas. It writes the entire blog, listicle form, answering the questions on there. It gives me my SEO, the keywords. It gives me my meta description. It gives me a Facebook and a LinkedIn post linking to that blog. I put that blog on my website. I have my VAs go ahead and post it to my social media, and boom, you do this every day. It takes me 5 minutes. If I did this manually, it would take me 3 hours minimum to write that blog and then know where backlinking is and, front linking and all of the other stuff that's involved in this. So content creation is huge. Sorry, I went down a rabbit hole.
No. So blogging is back.
Yes.
Which is
big time.
Hilarious. It's back. Everyone used to blog, and it's really just a nice article, right? I mean, this is like...
Yeah, it's answering people's questions. And it's not like people are going to jump on your website and go read every blog you have. You have to understand the concept of blogging is to feed data to the internet. So when these large language models are scraping for answers to these people's questions, you have a boatload of those answers online, right? So this is why YouTube videos are so important too.
And I want to point out, like, I wrote for RIS Media for twice a week digital content for 6 straight years, twice a week. And so you can ask, literally, I've had clients tell me that they said, what would Sherri Johnson say about blah, blah, blah. And every single thing I've ever written is all in there, and the backlinks and all that you're talking about. And this is amazing. All right. So are you on number 3, or that was number 2, right?
That was number 1. I'll make number 2 and 3 super quick because I know we're hitting towards the end of our time limit here. Number 2 is scraping personality profile statistics for the agents that we're working with. All right. So you can use AI to scrape for these agents' social media profiles. It can take all of their data, all of their posting, the way they're wording their posts, and it can determine where they sit on the disc profile. Okay. Then we get that information, and then we can adjust our negotiation strategies with those agents based on their disc profile. So now we take a whole psychological approach to the way we negotiate for our clients. So if you have like somebody on the disc scale who's like a high C, and you're like me, you're a high D, high I, well, they don't want to hear me blab, right? I can go in and give them the details that they want. I can structure my negotiation according to how I found their information online, which is insanely useful because it also creates the win-win situation. And like I said, I make a lot of friends with my clients because of how I attract them. Well, when you talk to a real estate agent in a subconscious level to their personality, guess who becomes your friend? And if you're in a situation like me and Sherri, where we're at a rev share model or a brokerage, those people become our friends. And then I tell them when we have lunch afterwards, they're like, damn, you did a really good job on that deal. How'd you do it? Like, what'd you do? And I'm like, dude, I scraped your personality off the internet with AI, and I just used it. And they're like, teach me. And it's like, join me, and I'll show you everything I know. Right. So this is a big, big thing there, scraping the personality profile statistics. And then the third thing that's really good too is like people pay thousands and thousands of dollars a year to have a business planner or a business coach to help them understand where their weak spots are in their system and what they need to do to improve. Well, AI can do this too because we taught it about our business. So then you feed it some stats. You're like, hey, this is where I'm at with my deal flow. I wish I was here. What can I do? Now you can do like what's called like a SWOT analysis on your business. And you can go through this process with a large language model, and you can get actionable items. So I will regularly do a SWOT analysis on my business, come out with what I need to work on, and then create a structured plan that starts with yearly goals to monthly goals to weekly goals to daily goals. And then I can have a daily checklist. It's like, okay, if you want to achieve this goal you just said, you need to do this, 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 and this today. And then tomorrow you need to do this, 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 and this. And as long as you start checking those boxes off, you'll be really surprised at how quick you can attain your goals.
Well, and I use it for business planning all the time, and we coach agents. But I'll tell you what, for my own goals, I have made a 100-day attraction journal that I had. It's unbelievable. I have had it, I've asked it all kinds of questions just like this to tell me what to do to generate this revenue in 90 days or in 30 days or whatever. That is classic. And I especially love scraping the internet to find the personality so that you can create a relationship that's win-win for the client and be totally playing offense in a way that, starts out that conversation with them so well. I mean, it is fantastic. And
it's game changer, dude.
It really is. And you are all over the country giving talks on this. I want to applaud your work. You're literally the way you can communicate it in a way that people like us, like me, can understand it, because sometimes you listen to people and you say it in a way that it's brilliant. So
thanks, dude. It's because I'm not techie, guys. That's the key. I'm not a scientist. I'm not I learned all this stuff here, but I'm still just a normal dude. I'm a 10th grade dropout. Like, I'm a musician.
You are literally fucking amazing. And by the way, look at the cool backdrop. Those are all really cool guitars. And, I remember I met you and I thought, oh my God, this guy, how am I going to do an hour presentation live in front of hundreds of people? And we just crushed it. And it really, you're part of my my group now. This is so cool. And Adam's going to bring more value, more content to Sherri Johnson Coaching. We're going to do a lot of great things together. If people want to reach out to you, I know we're going to put all of your information, but how can they find you? What's your website and all that stuff?
Yeah, man. Well, you can just literally throw it into a large language model. Just type in Adam Gillespie AI. You can Google Lofty CRM and my videos will show up. But I'm YouTube. I have a whole bunch of awesome educational stuff on YouTube. My entire channel is dedicated to AI use for agents and CRM. So there's a bunch of free stuff on there. And then I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Just look up Adam Gillespie, or you could say Adam G303, any of that. I'll also make sure I send you some of my links so you could post it in the description. But I'm super easy to find, guys, because I'm all over the internet doing this stuff that I'm telling you guys to do today. So it will not be hard to find me. Just remember Adam Gillespie. And if you want to throw AI on the end of that, it'll make sure I get found.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm going to have you, we're going to have Adam do a webinar on coming up. We talked about doing that. And obviously I want to have you on the podcast show first. Guys, I know that was a lot. I know your notes probably have notes. You're going to want to go play this podcast back again. Reach out to Adam Gillespie AI and expert that he is. Apex Elite. Completely amazing program, by the way. If you are looking for help, Adam's going to help us. He's going to send you some things that are free. But if you are interested in looking at his products, please do that because he is the best. And we are just so blessed to have you. Thank you. I'm just I love this. And we're going to have you on the podcast again because I know we're going to have part 2. You rock. Literally, you're the best. Thank you. And everybody, up your AI game. Let's go. This is so exciting.
Let's go.
It's time to put a plan together. We've got the resources. We've got the intel now. Now we can go do it. So thanks again. And we will see you next time on the Sherri Johnson Show. Adam, thanks. You're the best. You rock, buddy.
Thanks, Sherri. Appreciate it.
And I'll see you guys next time. Sherri Johnson, you rock. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Sherri Johnson Show. If today's episode gave you a breakthrough or an aha moment, please take action. And don't forget, you can grab your free download of the Sherri Johnson Goldmine Pipeline in the link below and start seeing results right away. Want even more personalized support? Book a free strategy call with our team or check out our coaching program starting at just $49 a month at sherrijohnson.com. Remember, it takes 5 contacts to get a yes, but with the right strategy, you can get there faster. Let's turn your potential into profits. I'm Sherri Johnson, and I'll see you next week.